Hello and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Christina and this is Casey Urban Farm. Today I'm going to show you how I take onions that are not going to be good for long-term storage and dehydrate them in my dehydrator so that I can use them later on for onion powder or other things that I would put dehydrated onions in. Often when you grow your own onions, or even going and buying onions bulk from the farmer's market or from a co-op or at the store, you'll get a few of them that start to get soft or mushy, or you can see that they have a bad spot on them that needs to be removed. Otherwise the whole onion is going to be lost. And that is where I'm at today. I have brought in my entire onion harvest for this season, and I have behind me a bag of onions that have various issues that are, again, not ideal for long-term storage, but are ideal for dehydrating. And so that's what we're going to do today. And then in a future video, I will show you how I then use those onions to make an onion powder for recipes. So let's get started. And hopefully I haven't waited too long to do this. I can smell that some of these onions are quite pungent, so I may actually have a few that I need to toss out. But what I'm going to start with is, this one actually might be okay. You know, that's a monster onion. Let's see how much that bad boy weighs. Wow, almost 1 pound, 7 ounces. That's awesome. So this one I was going to use for dehydrating because some of the skin had been removed, but I can see that this is kind of hardened over and it does not feel spongy. It looks okay. So I think I'm going to set this one aside for now. All right, so this is actually just a little bit spongy and wet right there, and I can tell by the look of this that this is going to start to go bad, and it will end up affecting the entire onion. And so if right now we cut off this spot, then the rest of this onion can be dehydrated and it can be salvaged. So this one is 15.5 ounces. So I only have one that I'm throwing away, and I'm trying to dig it out of the bag. It's really gross. So this is the only one, and I'm really trying to hold it gentle so I don't squish through it. That's the only one that I am throwing away, and I have not weighed it. I'm not going to. And then all the rest of this is just the skin and stuff that I pulled off of the ones that I've decided I can salvage for dehydration. And some of them aren't bad. I could probably put them up for a few days, but because I have so many of them that are like that I could probably put up for a few days, I'm just gonna go ahead and get these in the dehydrator, because I usually dehydrate a fair amount anyways, because that is our preferred storage, is dehydration. So that's what I'm gonna do. So this is what I have to go in the dehydrator, including that last one weighed. So my next step is just to rinse everything off, finish cleaning them up, and then get them on the cutting board. So let's do that real quick. I ended up with 15 onions total, and once they were washed and kind of cleaned up a little bit, they don't look bad at all. So that is what we're going to be dehydrating today. And I'm just going to start with each onion. I'm going to cut the top off. I'm actually going to move my bucket over here to toss stuff into. And just kind of check it out. It is a little soft right here in the middle. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up or not, but right here in the center, this is soft and mushy. So when we cut the onion in half, I'm going to remove that. I'm actually going to cut off center of it, and off center of that. And toss that whole thing out. And then from this, I'm just going to slice. So then what I end up with are pieces that look like this. Now on some of these, I will actually be able to do a true round slice, and ideally when I'm dehydrating onions, that's what I want. But this will work as well. These could also be frozen at this point, or you could pickle them for like a refrigerator pickle recipe. Or if you're a meal planner and like you're doing all of your big meals on one day, which I used to do, and this would be another great way to use these onions up. Now this one is not so pretty, so you can really see. Cut around that. So sometimes it's just the layers of them will get soft. So look, when you peel that layer off, then that piece is perfectly fine. But we're going to salvage what we can off of it, because nothing goes to waste. Again, remember what I said earlier about that one that had the one layer that was gross? So watch when we peel that layer off, as gross as that is. So I'm going to wash this off and show you. Alright, so that's washed off. Cut off that end. And then it's almost like its own little mini onion. And that was right in the center. And it's firm. And just fine. And the reason why the centers will often get rotten and the outside will appear fine is because that outside stem goes right through the center of the onion, and if it hasn't been picked in time or already had damage or didn't go through the drying process correctly, that leaves that whole center vulnerable to moisture and rot. And some of them, as I cut into them, it almost has like a mealy feel to it. And for eating fresh, you don't want that. So that one I was actually able to slice. And when I'm dehydrating, this is usually what I do, is I slice them and then lay them on the dehydrator. Alright, I'm down to the last one. Thank goodness, because it is, oh my gosh, look, how funny. And it's hollow. That is hysterical. That is absolutely hysterical. Anyways, I'm down to the last one, which, yeah, look, that was what was right in the center. Neat. So I'm going to finish getting this one cut, and then I'll weigh my cut onions and my waste, record those, and then I'll get the dehydrators out and show you how I put them on the trays. And I'm going to cut that sucker open and see what we got on the inside. Isn't that interesting? That is just so interesting. Huh. Oh. All right. And I have not taken the weight of the bowl yet, so I'll do that, and I'll add everything up at the end. And at the end of this video, I'll tell you what all the numbers were for pre-dehydration. So that ends up being 4 pounds, 10 ounces. £8, 9.96. We've finally reached the point where we're going to put the onions on the dehydrator. So I'm going to use the Excalibur, which is the square trays with the mesh that goes on it. I've rinsed everything off because it was dusty from being in storage. That's why ideally, if you can, again, keep them in their sliced form, that's my preferred. But because we were working with onions that were on their way to the compost heap anyways, you know, we just work with what we get. So I think I'm going to fit everything in the Excalibur, which is awesome. I have one tray behind me that I'm going to readjust, and I have a couple of pieces in here that did not get cut for some reason, and so I need to cut those. Otherwise, I mean, I am literally down to the last little bit. So I think I will slice these. Put that on. All right. Let me get this one in there, and then my last one, which was actually the first one I did, which I spaced them out really carefully, and it's really tall. They all fit. I'll show you. Come through here to the dining room table, which is messy. And you'll see. So here's the Excalibur on the table. And then all you do, so you have all your trays in. put your exterior cover on. It's already plugged in. And for vegetables, I want it on 125. I am so excited to show you all how the dehydrated onions turn out and how I'm able to make them into powder in the next series for dry canning, or I guess this would be dehydrated dry canning. So there'll probably be a couple of videos in between, but I will let you all know on my Instagram and Facebook when this video is coming up, because it does take a few days for those to dehydrate, and I may have something else pop up in between. So as always, thanks again for joining me. Have a lovely day. Bye.